Okay, guys, check it out. I just barely finished watching season 1 of Stranger Things. I know that show has been out for a while and I'm super behind, but if you guys know me, I can't binge watch shows on Netflix or on Hulu or Amazon, whatever, any type of streaming service. I just can't do it because I'm just not like everybody else. I can't digest all of it within a weekend, which is why we got Luke Cage coming up and I'm gonna have to start watching that from week to week because that's just how I do it. But the topic at hand is Stranger Things season 2. Where do we go from here? Now, I'm warning you, this video might be kind of actually, it's probably going to be very, very spoilery. It's going to be very, very spoilery for season 1 of Stranger Things, particularly the ending, the finale, because it's mostly going to be an overview of the finale. I'm not going to review the entire season because probably by now you've already made up your mind whether or not you're going to actually watch Stranger Things, or you would have watched a handful of reviews by now by various other people, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. But I do want to talk about what season 2 can do to kind of broaden the spectrum that it came with the story in season 1 of Stranger Things, and where they can take that, what type of direction they can take that story in, and how they can kind of improve it, because there were a couple of hindrances here and there in season 1, even though I really did enjoy the show. That's my overall opinion. I really, really, really liked the show, almost loved it, but there were just a couple of things that kind of held it back. One of them was that there was a little bit of a lull in the middle of the season where we were focusing a little too much on Nancy and her relationship troubles with Steven, and then you got the Jonathan kid, and I know that they were trying to harken back to the John Hughes days of like Breakfast Club, Can't Hardly, well, not Can't Hardly Wait, I think that's a 90s movie, but 16 Candles, all those type of movies, Pretty in Pink. I know that they were trying to pay homage to those type of movies, but I think that we're tackling a little bit too much 80s, to where I'm like, no guys, focus on what you started on, which is homage to science fiction and horror with this creature lurking around while at the same time exploring this other dimension type thing. Just stick to that. And I'm hoping that they do that with season 2. It looked like it improved in the latter half of season 1, so I'm hoping that they don't divulge too much into that whole relationship stuff. Especially when season 1 ended and it was revealed that Nancy did in fact she did in fact go back to Steven, and she actually rejected Jonathan, which I think is a little bit of a change of pace. I actually respected that ballsy move, because usually you expect the weird kid to end up with the leading girl, and that just didn't happen at the end of season 1. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different. I mean, it kind of threw me off, but I like that. Just don't spend too much time because we have some more important shit to worry about. Number one, what happened to Elle? She disappeared and she kind of took that creature with her, so we don't necessarily see a body, we just see like a disintegration type of ash or whatever in the classroom, and then later on we see Hopper put some food, including Eggo waffles, inside of that little container, and him putting it now barely a month later after all these events during Christmas time, it does kind of throw me off for a loop, because I don't know if this is the first time that he's attempting to try to communicate with Elle and try to figure out if maybe he can help her and try to keep her fed and all that type of stuff, or has he been doing this for the longest time and the food is actually disappearing daily and he's just putting the food back in there daily, meaning Elle is in fact still alive. But then there's the catch. If she's still alive, then how do we not know that the the monster from the Upside Down, how can we rule out that that thing is dead? If she disappeared, and she could very well come back either from the Upside Down or from some kind of other dimension, how do we know that that monster is not going to come back? Now, I will say that it is just a tiny bit irrelevant to talk about whether or not that creature is dead or not, because of the next thing that I'm going to talk about, and that is Will Byers. He finally returns home, everything's good, or is it? I knew that that little happy family type of image that we end up with Jonathan, Will, and Winona Ryder's character, they're all around the table and everything just seemed perfect, and I'm like, it cannot be. It cannot be. And that, why? Because even though we saved the kid and Elle got rid of the monster, we still kind of have this otherworldly dimension still lurking out there. We can't just get rid of that over in just one episode, let alone one season. So that's definitely something that's going to have to be addressed in season 2. You can't just ignore the fact that there's this other world. There's going to be some kind of repercussion, and we see that at the end of the finale, where Will goes to the bathroom and coughs up some kind of slug resembling that of the creature that was roaming around in the Upside Down that abducted him in the first place. It also bears resemblance to the slug that was climbing out of Barb's dead body. And then after Will coughs up that slug, he sees a vision of the Upside Down within the bathroom. So does that mean that, being that Elle has the telepathic power or telekinetic powers to be able to not only move things with her mind, but she's also able to kind of have like a little bit of a out-of-body experience in water, in which she can kind of jump out of her body and then into this other dimension where she can kind of like look for people, kind of traverse through the world and kind of have like an echolocation type of thing happening within her head? Does the Upside Down have something to do with people's minds? Can that kind of influence people's psychosis, and is that a symptom that Will's gonna have to deal with in season 2? On top of that, what exactly is festering inside him? Something that was kind of overlooked in the hospital, because that to me kind of didn't really make sense. Why did nobody notice that there were kind of like some eggs or slugs growing inside his body when he was being overlooked at the hospital? But it's 1983, so I'm gonna overlook it for now. Will and his family, and of course his friends, may try to kind of overlook the fact that they have to deal with this other dimension, but the government is not going to. And we see Hopper climb into that car, but we never see what exactly happened. That we jump ahead a month later, and that's something that I'm hoping we see in like the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2, is actually what happened right in that instance where he gets into the car and what type of conversation he had with those 2 men in the suits. That's also one of the things I'm hoping they fix in season 2, is the villains. I didn't think the villains were all that great here in season 1. I thought they were kind of meh and kind of cookie cutter, basic dude in suits coming to get you, walking all cool down the halls. They were pretty much that. The only one that looked like he had a little bit of potential was the leading one with the white hair, played by Matthew Modine. He was in The Dark Knight Rises, that's all I remember him from, but he looked like he was going to have the one with the deepest backstory, because he looked like he had some kind of connection with Elle, because it almost seemed like there was a father-daughter thing going on there, but they never really fully realized it, so he ended up being just a traditional villain that walks around looking all sinister and talking really loud with his voice to seem legit, but you know he's got some evil shit planned. And that is somewhat of an opportunity for the writers, especially the Duffer Brothers, the creators, to kind of bring in a better villains for season 2, much more charismatic villains that we can kind of resonate with and understand where they're coming from when it comes to this whole situation. All this and much more have the potential to be great in season 2, as well as many additions that I'm welcome to, brand new characters, brand new mythologies and rules about how the Upside Down works. But no matter what you guys do, no matter what Netflix and the Duffer Brothers have planned for season 2, one thing I definitely want to see happen: kill this motherfucker. I hated this guy more than the villains, more than even that blonde chick who was enjoying her job a little bit too much, that was part of the government, who was going around killing people really happily. But I hated this guy more because he's just the most useless husband, the most useless father, the most useless sack of shit that is just absorbing everybody else's useful oxygen. I don't know why. He's such a minor character. He barely has any screen time, and I hated him. I hated him. I don't know why. So that's what I think is going to happen and what they should do in season 2 of Stranger Things. But enough about me. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen in season 2, especially since we recently had that teaser trailer that is pretty much just the main title of the show, which I actually really enjoy. I can't get that song out of my head, as well as the design of it. It's very haunting but very cool and very 80s like. But it was the titles switched out with the actual episode titles from season 2 that are foreshadowing certain things. Especially, I think the second episode of season 2, the title for it is called The Boy Who Came Back to Life, and that's actually a little headline that you see in the newspaper clipping at the end of the finale. Towards the end of the finale, you see that. So I'm interested to see how this all links together, but I'm much more interested to hear what you guys think should happen and could happen in season 2 of Stranger Things. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you share this video with anybody who has seen Stranger Things to have them let me know what they think. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so, and of course check out my gaming channel. I got a new video up on there where I play Life is Strange in under about 20 minutes or so. I got a couple of scary games that I want to tackle and hopefully play and hopefully shit my pants for you guys. So please check that out, Rich Plays. As again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.